Chloe Kelly. What a year she's like. This is 2025 is the year of Chloe Kelly. Okay,
Yeah,
Chloe Kelly moves to Arsenal. Chloe Kelly has some stupendous Champions League performances,
yeah.
wins the Champions League with Arsenal,
Mm.
then comes to the Euro squad, not in the starting 11, totally
Yeah.
a super sub. Every time she comes on, she either contributes with an assist
Mm.
or a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gets England to the final with a failed penalty that she manages to put in after the
Yeah.
penalty has failed. Like
Yeah.
you can't write this stuff. Like it's like movie level drama.
And hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of All About the W. Ash and I are here to review the Euros finals. England are European champions yet again, as we know, and we're here to sort of break down that match that happened yesterday. But before we get started, a reminder to all of you out there to subscribe to our channel if you're finding us for the first time. We do WSL content. We usually review and preview Champions League matches as well. So do hit that subscribe button so that you can, catch all the action from our end as well. Ash, shall we get started?
Yeah, by all means.
How have you found the Euros overall so far? As in, like, now that we're at the end of it.
I've enjoyed the Euros. I think there've been so many close games, and I know I complained about them when they were happening, but it's nice to see so many close games, so many teams in contention. I mean, you have the usual suspects, of course, who do well. England, Spain, Germany, France to some extent, but France as
Yeah.
France does.
Mm.
But I also like to see that Italy, for example, came to the fore. I mean, Sweden's a usual suspect as well, but you did see a couple of really good group stage performances from various teams. So I think that overall, for the health of the game, I think this was a really good tournament. I think
Yeah.
it really did show the quality of the women's game right now, and
Mm.
how competitive it is. Because apart from the Wales game, I don't think there was any game that was just like walkover level easy.
Yeah, I think maybe possibly the like a couple of games that Spain played. I think
Yeah,
Portugal
but
was.
even yeah, but even there, like yeah, Portugal versus Spain for sure because there was a clean sheet. But
Yeah,
Belgium versus Spain, Belgium did manage to like score
score
two
two
goals.
goals. Yeah,
It wasn't like
yeah,
so cut and dry. And like, yes, obviously with Spain, they had an easier group, I would suggest. But I do think overall, like the competitiveness of the groups also. I mean, yes, there wasn't any like last minute anxiety over group qualification mostly,
hmm
but I think overall it was pretty competitive.
yeah. I agree. In fact, I was expecting a fairly close tournament, which is why I also didn't feel inclined to predict England to win it a second time in a
Yeah.
row. Of course, they were coming in on like not so great form and a lot of players coming back from injury. So for me, um, you look at Germany and they've won it what 6, 7 times in a row,
Yeah, yeah.
and you see it with the Champions League, the Women's Champions League as well. You see it with the Euros. Like the competitiveness, the game is getting so high. Like in my head, at least, the chances of the same winning, it's the same team winning the tournament all over again, just feels less possible these days.
Yeah,
But of
yeah.
course, like England have somehow managed to come out
I
on
mean,
top.
I like honestly when I heard that Millie Bright was injured, I that at that point I didn't give enough credit to England. I always knew that England has a deep bench, so like a few injuries here and there or slightly unfit players, and they can still make it work. But I didn't think I still didn't think they had it in them to get to the finals. And
Yeah.
like kicking and screaming, they got there. But once they got there, boy, did they get there.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the final, shall we, Ash? Let's start with the team selection. So a few changes there from both sides. Some of them definitely I did not expect. Starting with Jess Carter coming back into the team, and
Yeah.
also Lauren James starting, which was a question mark all along.
Yeah.
And of course, on the other side, Athenia comes in for Claudia Pina.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you make of these two changes? Like initially when you saw it, and also like in hindsight.
So the initially when I saw the Pina substitution with Athenia, I know Athenia had been flying in form, and I had even suggested that maybe she should start. But pardon me. The thing is, like, despite the fact that even I had suggested that she should start and that Pina hadn't had the best game against Germany, I still felt when the game started that, if you have a super sub, you don't change it. Like, this is
Yeah.
something I think Wiegman's experience is something you can learn from. The fact that despite the fact that, like Ajmal and Chloe Kelly were like such amazing super subs, she didn't substitute Russo for Ajman, for example.
Yeah.
And because, like when you have young players, when they have no pressure on them and they come on off the bench, they flourish.
Yeah.
But suddenly, if you're telling them in a final that the teams, you know, like uh, like all of the team's expectations and dreams depend on you, then
Mhm.
that puts a whole different like tone on
Yeah.
that game. And someone like Pina has more, it's just more tested, battle tested. So I did
Mm.
feel like Pina should start.
Yeah, I felt um I honestly, even now I feel like maybe starting Athenia was not wrong. Like for me,
Yeah.
when I saw that team sheet, I didn't expect Athenia to start for
Yeah,
starters.
yeah.
Like I just didn't. I just felt like, you know, like tactically, I wanted England. Like we said this in the preview as well, right? If
Yeah, yeah.
Mariona is going to play on that right hand side, we
Yeah.
know that the left hand side of England's defense is their weakness,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like they would try and target that because Athena is very good at carrying the ball forward.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has some pace, and I thought she could make some, stretch play a little bit, and
Yeah.
possibly just carry the ball, like roll a defender or something like that, and sort of put a cross in. So from
Yeah.
that like tactical perspective, I was not opposed because I feel like Pina is also not like she's like one of those players who actually doesn't like hug the touchline. She's a winger who likes to cut
Yeah, yeah,
in,
yeah.
who likes
Yeah.
to play through the midfield.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
felt like maybe Athena offered something different on the other wing as opposed to
Yeah.
Mariona, who also does similar things, right? Like she likes to
Yeah,
play through
yeah.
the midfield, like through the middle. So I mean, yeah, I don't know
I
how
mean,
different.
and to be fair, like Pina and Athena are almost same age. Pina is in fact younger. I just feel
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of like pressure experience.
Mm,
And I tell you one more thing. I just feel like when you have a winning combination, a team that's winning together, you don't fix what ain't broke. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't, if you overthink these things, no, sometimes because you don't, maybe a player doesn't contribute individually in something, but maybe
Mhm.
there's just something about a group of 11 that starts together that clicks.
Yeah.
So I do feel like definitely he should have started Pina simply for the fact that she
The
was part of
cohesion.
a winning playing 11. Like
Yeah,
Spain
yeah.
have not lost a single game in this entire Euros
Mm,
until the finals, and even the
yeah.
finals they didn't lose; they lost on penalties. So like
Mhm.
in open play, they have not lost a game. So keeping that in mind, maybe they should have just started with their winning
Yeah,
combination.
that's a fair point. I think, yeah, I mean, it is a final, it is a high pressure moment even for a manager. Like, there is
Yeah,
pressure to maybe try and do things differently. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, sometimes you just don't fiddle with something that's working well.
yeah, yeah,
All right. Like, I want to talk a little bit about Jess Carter because she is one of my favorite defenders. And
yeah,
it's been like, as a fan, it's been very hard for me to watch this tournament because of Jess Carter's performances. Like
Yeah.
she just hasn't looked like herself.
Yeah.
Um, like right from the beginning, and when the tournament started, she was played out of position. She was obviously playing at that left back position, and
Yeah.
like looked uncomfortable. Then comes in at centre back, has a couple of like tough games, especially the one against Sweden, and then of course everything happened after that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the mental strength to just come out in the final, like and play itself was immense. But the performance that she put in, like the number
Yeah.
of clearances and blocks she had, and like credit to Williamson as well. Like as a duo, they worked very well together. Even like the communication between Carter and Greenwood looked pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but of course, a cross comes in from that left hand side. But we can talk about the goal a bit later. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I kind of wanted to add something to the Carter thing. I think, and I could be completely wrong here, but I think that, when all that controversy happened, Wiegman, uh, Wiegman put Morgan in place of Carter, not because like Wiegman thinks Morgan is a better player, but just simply like, okay, you're not in the right headspace, figure yourself out, you're coming back. So I think it was
yeah,
like, I know I say these things about Wiegman's player management skills and things like that. We say a lot about how she has favorites and things like that, but this was a managerial like player management masterclass in the sense that,
yeah,
okay, that there's something happening with a player, they're facing a lot of public criticism, put them on the bench for one game, let it all die down, get their head in the right place and put them back in. And I think and I think Carter then came in with a point to prove, and I think she did prove it. Like she had
yeah.
a really good performance in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was nice to see some of the post match and like some of the journalists actually addressing the issue and asking Carter about it. And she said two things which were very striking. One thing she said was she felt very scared to coming into this game. She felt very nervous starting this game, and she said she's never felt that way before.
Yeah,
Like the nerve she was feeling was a bit different, but then
yeah,
she thought about the team around her, and then she felt more confident. And the
yeah,
other
yeah,
thing the other thing was what was most striking to me, which is she said um, how she's somebody who plays in a more front-footed way defensively,
yeah, yeah,
and this entire tournament she's not been playing like herself, which is
yeah,
something I've felt multiple times. Like, Carter is not the best with the ball at her feet. She's not.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
never been and probably never will be. But
yeah,
I have seen Carter being under more pressure in moments and still coming out of
yeah,
those
yeah,
situations with the ball. So her
yeah,
struggling with her distribution, losing the ball when under pressure.
yeah,
Once or twice, I understand the number of times it repeatedly happened. I was a bit surprised. And her defensive positioning throughout the tournament, there was
yeah,
something just not right. Like, honestly, watching her play, I felt like she wasn't, there was something that was not right. And to hear her say that she's not been playing like herself, and finally in the final, she played like herself,
yeah, yeah.
it made sense watching it.
Yeah, and honestly, arguably the way that England set up also suited Carter more because they were not passing off from the back so much, and Hannah was throwing the ball into the midfield and having it, like a midfielder collect it or something. So it just that style of play, I think, also suited Carter slightly better than having the like the responsibility of dealing both with the Spanish press and with distribution.
Yeah, I think that's another difference you see between the Italy game and the game against Spain, which is, I think even Wiegman mentioned this in the press conference where she said, like bringing Esme Morgan on was a tactical decision. And
Yeah,
you see in that game against Italy, obviously England have more of the ball. They're trying to build out from the back. So maybe it was even like slightly a tactical decision as much as it was a player management decision. But
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
in this game, it definitely suited Carter more because, and I also feel like, I mean, not to make this all about Chelsea, but I also feel like Carter is somebody who's had has had really bad defensive performances against a Barcelona team. Um, like Spanish team is pretty much entirely Barcelona. So
Yeah,
like I feel like in the last couple of years that she did play against Barcelona for Chelsea, she had some really good defensive performances.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like even that knowledge and the experience of playing a certain style of play, playing against a certain style of play and players,
yeah,
might have been another choice and another factor that went into the choice. But Ash,
yeah,
let's come to the tactics, shall we? Like,
yeah.
what stood out for you from, like, we know that Spain play in a particular
Sorry,
way.
sorry, Kai. Before we do tactics,
Hmm.
I will say this. You don't mess with the winning formula, all of that, but player safety comes first. James should not have started this game. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
but yeah, tactics. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's funny. I was just having a conversation with my sister. It's like, Lucy Bronze came out and announced. I mean, speaking of player safety, Lucy Bronze came out and very proudly said she played the entire tournament on a broken tibia. And I'm just like, okay, great. I don't even know how to wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
But, you know, like, obviously, if you ask a football player if they want to play, they'll say yes.
yeah,
Like, it's what brings them most joy. They're going to say yes. Like,
yeah.
LJ will any day say yes to playing football than sitting on the sidelines. But the difference,
Especially in the Euros, like it's not like
yeah,
some
it's
Nations
a
League crap
final.
match.
Exactly. And there's this thought, like I've heard, like for example, I was listening to this Guardian podcast, and there's this journalist, Susie Rack, who basically said that she would take LJ on one foot with gangrene on the football
Yeah,
pitch.
yeah,
Which is fair enough. She's an English fan, like she wants, like, and LJ is a creative force in the team. But the problem is the difference between a player like LJ and Lucy Bronze is that
yeah.
if LJ is not fit, she's not going to be playing the game, like, you're just not going to get the best of her, you know
Also,
like,
some people's bodies are made differently.
yeah.
LJ's body is made of cheese. We must recognize that.
Yeah,
Like you can't expect her to play injured and think that it's going to last you like a game or two and then she'll be back. Like
yeah.
LJ is gone for 6 months now.
Oh, LJ,
Like
I fully expect to see LJ in January. Like, it's
yeah,
after the winter, like there's no doubt.
like
So
broken tibia. I'm sure Lucy Bronze will be back in 2 months or something. Like but
yeah, because she has magical bone healing powers.
yeah, like you have to recognize that when people have a history of injuries, it's very different. Like Lucy Bronze is had injuries in her career, but is a very like physically fit player.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, LJ is like a slightly moody player on the pitch, and I still
Yeah,
feel like, I mean, this is not to add to the allegations that she doesn't look like she cares, or she doesn't look
yeah, yeah, yeah,
bothered to get into the game, or like, I'm not adding to
yeah,
that allegation. I'm saying, like, as a Chelsea fan, I know there are days when LJ is just like moody, and
yeah,
when you see her play injured, you can tell. Like, I've seen her play injured multiple times, and she just can't get into the game. There was a moment very early on in the game, I don't know if you remember, where this Russo takes a shot, Katakoi parries it into LJ's path,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she just lets the ball roll in between her legs, and I'm just like,
yeah,
that's like somebody who's not fit for you.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And I mean, well, yeah, that's player management, player safety, whatever. But
yeah,
anyway, let's talk about tactics. Like, we know, as I was saying earlier, like, we know Spain play in a particular way. Obviously, there were some changes that they made, because suddenly in the first 20 minutes, all you saw was just like ball flying over the midfield back and forth. Um,
yeah.
and let's talk a little bit about the tactics, like at least in the first half, what stood out
I
for
I
you?
think personally, I think that Tome kind of overthought things a little bit. I think
Hmm.
Tome realizes that everybody thinks there's only one way to beat Spain, which is you break up the play in the midfield, and that this is what Germany did, and this is what uh, who did they play before that?
Switzerland and Italy
Switzerland
did.
did, yeah. Everyone has been doing the same thing against. Even Italy did try to do that. Like tried is the operational word here. So I think Tome was just like, okay, to solve something that didn't need solving because you managed to get past these teams. Um, uh, Tome was like, let us crowd the flanks, and while they're focused on midfield, let's crowd the flanks, and that's how, like, to be fair, that's how also the Mariona goal happened, because
Mm.
like the ball came in from the flanks, and all the play kind of happened along the flanks, if I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah,
So, in that sense, it I don't think it was the wrong tactics, but I think sometimes you just play to your strengths. The reason
yeah,
people break up play for you in the midfield is because you have the best midfield in the world. Use that. Like, I think Alexia has been absent since the Germany game, but she was also not given an opportunity to get into the game.
yeah,
Uh, and you like I felt like even Bonmati wasn't like Bonmati obviously was running around trying to make the best of it and all, but I just felt like so much more could have been done with this midfield three.
yeah,
And you also had Caldente who sort of like comes in centrally kind of, so you have
mm,
so much firepower in the midfield. Go centrally, run circles around them. It's fine, do that.
yeah. I honestly wish they'd started with that because, like, of course, I do think this going over the midfield did give them a bit of joy. You also saw how, like, uh, Hannah was coming off her line very easily because, like, the
Yeah,
moment I feel like the game started, and probably when they saw Athene on the team sheet, they must have anticipated that. Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
they are going to try and go long. And so they
yeah,
were, like, the English defense is very alert to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and the other thing that kind of stood out to me is also, like, when they did try to play through the midfield, which
Yeah,
started happening after they scored the goal,
yeah,
um, and in the second half as well, I felt like England sort of dealt with it pretty well.
yeah,
Like, for, I mean, of course, in the game, like, the momentum was swinging constantly,
yeah.
um, but I do feel like, uh, especially in the second half, England
Yeah,
just
I
were.
feel like in the first half, I don't think England were dealing with it that well, honestly.
Hmm.
I don't even remember the English midfield from the first half. Like
Yeah.
it felt like all of England's opportunities were coming from long balls into Hemp, into Russo,
Yeah.
and then when Chloe Kelly came on, she also started making in her 4 minutes of her stuff made a little bit of an impact.
Yeah.
So it all felt like running in from the wings.
Hmm.
Uh, so I don't know how much, like, I do feel like that first half was, I would say, advantage Spain.
Yeah, and another thing was, like, I also feel like where England probably, I mean, if they hadn't won, they'd be kicking themselves. Is, like, you obviously saw how far up the Spanish fullbacks were. Like,
Yeah,
both Bathia as well as Olga had
yeah,
pushed up quite a bit, and the fact that you have both Kelly and Hemp who have, like, a lot of space to run into. Um, yeah, I felt like they didn't make use of it as well as they should have, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because it was either a poor touch or,
yeah,
just checking back and not just running with the ball and things like that.
yeah,
But I mean, the first half, you have to talk about that Hemp chance. I
yeah,
was so livid when I was watching that. Like, obviously, England put pressure on Katakoi, which forces, like, a bad pass. Hemp intercepts it, and then, like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, in that moment, I feel like LJ was in a lot of space, and she could have just, like, laid it off to LJ to take a shot,
yeah, yeah,
or just,
yeah.
like,
But
taken
I
a better
mean,
shot.
like, to
Excellent
be
safety
fair,
call.
she was in a position where she could have taken the shot herself, and
Yeah,
in any other universe, it is possible that she would have converted that. Uh,
exactly. Yeah, it was a near post shot. I feel
yeah.
like Katakoi did well to stop that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good reaction time, I think, also for
Hmm.
Katakoi. I think,
Yeah.
but Katakoi has kind of proven that her reaction time in this tournament has been good. In the Germany game as well, that double save, it
Oh,
required a
yeah. That was
very, like,
exceptional.
quick reaction time. I do think that maybe the ball, uh, just a little bit more flight on that ball, because it was like
Hmm.
pretty point blank, like it was just gone a little bit.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, she saved it with her foot. I feel like, yeah, maybe just, like, a little bit of a chip might have
yeah, yeah,
done the
yeah.
trick, but
Like
yeah.
a dink over the
Yeah,
goalkeeper.
exactly. But yeah, let's talk about the goal. No, I I feel like this goal is kind of symbolic of what happens when you like allow Aitana to have the ball that much.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just under pressure. Like Stanway was chasing her, right? And she like Stanway is just like running around in circles there. And obviously Aitana comes out of the ball, but under immense pressure, she makes this brilliant pass. Like her
yeah,
ability to find space is just next level.
yeah,
But yeah, that pass into Athenia and obviously Onabate takes over. She puts in that cross, a decent cross, definitely.
yeah,
And I think everybody is kind of preoccupied by Esther's position there. And it was
yeah,
like a 3v2 situation. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like definitely England should have done better there. But
yeah.
like, obviously, Esther like leaps for it, doesn't get it, and then Mariona
Yeah,
gets it, which
Mariona
is,
comes in. And it was a good run from Mariona,
yeah.
anticipating uh, that
Exactly. And
far
I think it's
post.
like also Esther being there is distracting literally everyone there. Even
Yeah,
Bronze is
yeah, yeah,
distracted by Esther's
yeah,
presence. She completely loses Mariona, which is where the goal comes from.
yeah, yeah. And you can't
Yeah,
leave someone like Mariona unmarked. Like, she will
yeah.
punish you.
Doesn't score a lot of headers, but that was
Yeah, I
a
was
good.
surprised when she scored with her head, but then I was just like, hey, if you do, you
Yeah,
do.
yeah. But I think we can say the same thing on the other side as well for the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
goal. Um, like Kelly puts in that cross, and yeah, I think there are two people. Like I mean, Alexia is like sandwiched between two defenders, right?
yeah.
Did I say Alexia? I'm sorry, I meant Russo, or did I
Yeah,
say
let's say
Alexia?
Russo and Alexia. That way
Yeah, sorry,
we don't
Russo,
have
Russo.
confused.
Russo sandwiched between two defenders, and then
Yeah,
yeah, and then she scored a good header there as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
And I think that we've been very critical of Russo. This whole like tournament, we felt like she can do better. But I have to say this: like she's had a few assists in this tournament, and she's always like what I say about forwards is you should not worry when they're not scoring. You should worry when they're not in the position to score. Because that means that the movement is not there.
no,
The
but
thing
that's
is,
the thing, right? That's been my critique, like of not Russo per se, but like England's setup in general, because sometimes like Russo's dropping so deep, like there's nobody in the box.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
England are spamming crosses.
yeah,
Apparently, in
yeah,
the Italy game, they crossed 51 times, 51
yeah.
crosses. Like that's mad.
Yeah, I mean,
So
to be fair, that's what Ajamang brings. That's different because Ajamang is present in the
exactly.
box.
She is
Uh,
present in the box. So that's the issue. Like for me, like Russo dropping deep, like I think she's probably one of the best forwards with those kind of skill sets.
the
Like in terms of
best
her
dropper deepers.
yeah, dropper deeper, spinning defender, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah,
Like all of that, like her touch and turn, I absolutely love it. Like there are so many skills that she has, but when
yeah,
she's doing all of that, somebody needs to crash the box. Like, because
yeah,
Chloe
yeah.
Kelly is gonna come and whip
No,
a
I
ball, and
think
then
I
there's
think
going to be no one
that
there.
should have, when you play that sort of like deep line strike, like deep playmaker striker type situation, the general tactic is that the number 10 crashes the box, which in this case would be Ella Toon. And I think Ella Toon was
Yeah.
missing in action.
Yeah, and from time to time she does do that. That is why the Toon Russo combination works. Like Ella
Yeah,
Toon goes up ahead, but yeah, in the last game I didn't see her doing that all that much. I also feel like that's why uh, the switch from like whatever a back four to a back three that Beekman has been doing throughout the tournament, where she puts Russo and Ajimang up front, also works because I feel
yeah,
like Ajimang is that fox in the box in that
yeah,
context,
yeah, yeah. Maybe England should
But
consider a 4-4-2 or something of that
yeah,
nature.
but then she took off Russo, so I was like, huh, what happened? Like she subbed out Russo
Yeah,
so early, I was like, is she injured or something? But then
yeah.
hey, Serena's not gonna sub out somebody who's injured.
I'm sorry, like at this point, like there's no point critiquing Serena's subs because Serena won the tournament. So
Yeah, yeah,
Serena gets
yeah.
to do what
Unless,
Serena gets to do.
yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, tactically, I also like at some point in the game, I also noticed in our watch along how much
Yeah.
like Bronze and Greenwood were sort of inverting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it did. I think it did create that overload in the midfield, like more bodies in the midfield. But like maybe it did help from a defensive perspective.
Yeah.
Uh, but it didn't. I don't think it made too much of a difference from an attacking perspective. Like I don't
Do
think
you
they were
think
able to.
do you think that England were playing for penalties after they
Oh,
scored
I
that
mean,
goal?
extra time after extra time, definitely they were like once extra time started, it was very
Yeah.
evident that Spain were the ones who desperately wanted to score, and
Yeah,
England were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we don't care, we trust our penalty takers. I don't know where the confidence is coming from,
Yeah.
but clearly it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was very evident, especially towards like in the second half of extra time, you could see Spain were like really pushing for it, and England were just chilling out, defending the box. They were just like, nah, we'll just
Yeah.
cut out any pass you want to make into the box and block
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Full traffic, nothing you can do.
Yeah. I know, I agree with that. I also feel like the reason England would have, like, I think England was just like, okay, because even after they scored the goal, the momentum was with them. Like
Hmm.
after they scored the goal, they had this brief moment of, say, 20, 15 minutes
Yeah,
where
10,
like
10, 15
momentum
minutes. Yeah.
was definitely with them. And I thought personally that they would use that momentum to score, but they didn't bomb forward like I expected. Like I thought Hampton
Hmm.
would suddenly move to a higher line. I thought the whole defensive line would move forward a little bit. But I think that they were so worried about conceding to Spain. They were like, we will, from that moment onwards itself, they were like, okay, if the midfield and the forwards can do something and create a goal, great. But
Yeah.
we're not as a unit moving
Moving
forward.
forward. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that sort of conservative, like in it stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe it was the in hindsight the right decision, because if someone like Pina gets behind the defensive line, then you're dead. So
Yeah.
like, and I didn't think England were capable of scoring a second equalizing goal. So
Hmm.
if Spain had scored at that point, I think it would have been all Spain all the way after
Yeah.
that.
Can I
So
say like that kind of like I mean when I'm playing back the game in my head, I am suddenly remembering how isolated Ajimang was
yeah,
for the
yeah.
entire she was on the
Yeah,
pitch.
and so I think that inversion of like Lucy Bronze and Greenwood, I think that definitely it was not meant as, like, generally you invert your fullbacks to attack, but in
Yeah,
this case it was a
a
reverse
defensive.
inversion,
Yeah,
a defensive inversion.
yeah. But yeah, I think for me, like I mean, let's talk a little bit about Mariona, right? I mean, I thought
Yeah,
this was one of her better performances in this Euros. I think the last couple of games she had maybe fizzled out a little bit. She got hooked early, like not
yeah,
hooked. I
yeah,
guess 60 minutes is a normal substitution. But
yeah,
yeah, like let's talk a bit about the subs, right? Like Alexia gets pulled
yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah.
but Mariona's kept on the pitch. Yeah.
So I tell you what, like I thought that Mariona, uh, I don't think she had a bad game against Germany either, in the sense that I think she was one of the few players who could keep up with the German physicality. Maybe because she plays in the WSL, which is a more physical league also. Um, I thought that she had a decent performance. It's just that she didn't get that goal scoring opportunity, and she hasn't made
Mm.
the best of the goal scoring opportunities she has gotten in this tournament, including a
Yeah.
penalty. So, like, there was that, but I also felt like, if you notice, Mariona in the first half did well, and then the second half she kind of like uh, disappeared for a while. But the
Yeah.
minute Alexia left and Mariona occupied that midfield position, suddenly you could see Mariona everywhere, you
Yeah.
know? And it, I think, just bolsters the point that Mariona is not a winger, you know?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think when she came into the midfield, she did like you did see a lot more of her. But also in the second half, I feel like second half of extra time at least, when I felt like Mariona was all over the place, it's probably
Yeah,
because like there was no pressure on her and she was just driving forward with the ball.
that's also true, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even Kelly had a good game. For whatever it's worth, I feel like starting James would have been a big talking point had England lost.
Yeah,
Uh, Fortunately for Serena, like Kelly comes in and
yeah.
puts in a good performance. I thought she looked pretty bright for the entire
Yeah.
game.
I mean, Chloe Kelly, what a year she's like. This is 2025 is the year of Chloe Kelly. Okay.
Yeah,
Chloe Kelly moves to Arsenal. Chloe Kelly has some stupendous Champions League performances,
yeah,
wins the Champions League with Arsenal,
mm,
then comes to the Euro squad, not in the starting 11, totally
yeah,
a super sub. Every time she comes on, she either contributes with an assist
mm,
or a goal.
yeah, yeah,
You know, gets England to the final with a failed penalty that she manages to put in after the
yeah,
penalty has failed. Like,
yeah.
you can't write this stuff. Like, it's like movie level drama, you
And
know?
and can we also just add, like, before the Euro squad was announced,
Yeah,
I think the international break prior to that, she didn't even make the squad, because I
yeah,
mean this was like in the December January
yeah, yeah,
international
yeah.
window when she
Yeah,
didn't even
because
make the England squad
she was
because she hadn't
not in
been
the
playing.
City team, no.
Yeah, she wasn't playing. So then Serena like came out and said, and there were a lot of questions asked of Serena, like why, like Chloe Kelly is your match, like she scored the
Yeah,
2022 Euro winning
yeah,
goal
yeah,
as well. So like there was questions asked of Serena, and she said, well, she's not playing, so other players deserve a chance. So she forces her way into an Arsenal team, like basically
yeah.
kicking and screaming, drama, social media drama. And anyway, yesterday in the press conference, she says, "Oh yeah, there was a Champions League final, won that. Now the Euro final, won that." Um, and
Like,
yeah, yeah,
like
she's
full
just
on
like,
aura farming,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And she said, "Thanks to everyone who doubted me." Like
Yeah.
wink, wink
No,
at Gareth
no,
Taylor.
and the thing is, like at all the end of it, she's the one taking the last penalty that decides in England's like
Yeah,
fate.
she's very like, I will take the winning penalty energy.
Yeah, yeah, like
Like
she has main character energy max, you know. Like
yeah,
if I
yeah,
have to
yeah,
write a
fully.
movie, the movie would be centered around Chloe Kelly, you know.
Yeah, I was very sure. Like, I mean, I just, when Chloe Kelly stepped up to take that penalty, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I asked you during the live, if England scores
yeah,
this, do they win? Because
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, Kelly, and she also said in an interview that she doesn't miss two penalties in a row,
Oh yeah.
which I
But
thought
I
was
mean, you
also
gotta
funny.
hand it to her. Like that level of confidence,
Yeah,
it ain't easy to come by. You know,
yeah.
it's hard to back yourself at that stage, as in like internationally,
Hmm.
that level of football and all of
Also,
that.
can I also mention another story, which is Hannah Hampton, which
Yeah,
I feel like also a high pressure situation for her to come in, because
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
like she also gave an interview prior to the Euros or during the Euros, which was released, where she said, it's really hard for me when like your own fans don't want you in goal, because
yeah,
there were international breaks prior to this when like fans, it was just probably just banter or whatever it was, but when she was in
yeah,
goal, fans were singing that you're not our number one, sort of a thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
No,
because Mary Earps is a big figure.
yeah. It's really sad, okay, because like everyone could see that, as much respect as I have for Mary Earps, everyone could see that she was a winning force and that
Yeah,
Hampton was a rising star, right? Like, and goalkeepers, it always happens slightly later in age. So Hampton is fairly even young to be considered
yeah,
such an accomplished goalkeeper. You know, she's won the Golden Glove for in the WSL, and so like she was definitely on the ascendant,
yeah,
and in this tournament, I think she just cemented her place massively because
yeah,
you can talk about how the players missed penalties and the players didn't play well. Hannah Hampton hasn't had a single bad game. Like
yeah,
I would argue, like even that France game, I don't think she was bad.
yeah,
Like Hannah Hampton has like that Sweden game. The reason, like everyone says, oh, finally, Lucy Bronze and all of that, the reason you stayed in that game as long as you did was simply because Hannah Hampton was out there saving penalties, you know?
yeah. And also like some big saves, like in open play as well. And I think Like, I mean, honestly, now suddenly I actually have faith in Hannah Hampton in
Yeah,
saving penalties, because you need to
yeah.
see your keeper do that to
Do
know
that.
that
Yeah,
they can do it. And of course, there's like research that goes into it. And I feel like, I mean, if you want to be like not critical of Hampton, but like if you don't want to give her that benefit of doubt, both penalties were at a good height that she saved.
yeah,
But I just have to say the fact that Hampton saved Aitana's penalty just made my
yeah, yeah.
day.
Oh my God, it
I
just
want
stayed with
nothing
my
more.
heart. Yeah. I was,
Yeah, but
it just sometimes there are like I have a lot of respect for Aitana, where I will say that it just sometimes okay, can I go on a rant? Little small
yes,
rant.
please, please do.
Spanish fans. I do
Yeah,
not want to hear another word about beautiful football, total football, the football that will make it across the world. I'm sorry, there are many ways to play football. The Spanish team is an amazing football team. Everybody knows that and everybody respects that. But
yeah,
to assume when you go into any tournament and when you enter any final that you are always going to, like be like the superior team is absolutely arrogant. It is arrogance at the level of like I can't even describe the level of arrogance
yeah,
that is. I'm sorry, like football's about winning. It's a sport. You have to win it. And if you
yeah.
haven't won, you don't have the right to banter. A failed
Oh,
Olympics campaign and a failed Euros campaign. Like, granted, you won the World Cup. You are the best team in the world by that
yeah,
logic until the
yeah,
next World Cup. But that doesn't give you the right to stand there superior, like, and judge the football of other teams and say that they
yeah,
don't play football and you play football and all. I don't want to hear any of that. I'm sorry.
yeah. I can't wait to hear, hear more about how they deserve to win it, because they had, I don't know what, 64% possession. Like, fuck that. I'm
And
sorry.
and hear this as well, Spanish fans. The extra times were like 1 minute and 2 minutes or something like that after the game, which means that the game itself was not so start and stop. Okay, so it
Yep,
wasn't like people were just tactically fouling you in the midfield, and that's why you like it wasn't football. It was actually rugby. Like
yep.
not, it was none of that. It was none of that. You just tactically lost a game.
Yeah, I agree. And like, speaking of, um, I was also wondering what you thought about the subs. Like, you know, I was really like, Parallel had a big chance to
Yeah.
put. She had a tap in that she completely missed. She kind of overran, and of course, like Vicky Lopez also came in and couldn't really impact the game. And you know, in my head, I was just thinking about maybe the experience overall in that front line. Like, you basically had Pina, who's like, I mean, she's not a young player, but she's just kind of like become like that starter for Barcelona now. In
Yeah.
this last season, like, she's been making regular appearances for Barcelona.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have Salma, who's, I don't know, 20-year-old. Vicky Lopez is even younger. So, like, I was wondering, like, what you thought of that, maybe that slight lack of experience in that front line.
Yeah, I think uh, maybe uh, I, I I would say that like I think Pina was supposed to be the experience in that front line when
Hmm.
she was brought on,
Yeah,
and Pina's her young herself, so I don't know how much she counts as experience because she's 23. So,
yeah,
but to be fair, the Spanish team, despite its achievements, is also not a very old team.
yeah.
Like in general, like in
Hmm.
comparison to England, which has got these stalwarts in it. Until recently, like Mary Earps was still there in the English
Hmm.
in the English lineup, who's like played forever. So you have a lot of like really like Lucy Bronze is there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
experience in that English side.
Hmm.
Spain, I think, still can grow into its potential. Like
Hmm.
they have when the next World Cup comes along, maybe those players will be ready. Like now that they've experienced this loss, Paruello and Vicky Lopez will be ready if they reach a final. They will be ready for that
Yeah.
next step. I think maybe it was too much to expect them to handle that pressure because it's a final is not about playing well, it's about winning. A
Yeah.
final is very different from it's a different creature from every other game of football,
Uh,
I feel.
I feel like any knockout football is that. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like the only place where I expect teams to perform well is
yeah,
probably the
yeah,
league, just league
yeah,
football.
yeah, yeah,
Everywhere
yeah,
else, I'm just like, just get over the line.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Like if there was a
Um,
league with all these countries in it, Spain would win it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw the level of consistency, right? Like
Yeah,
winning every single one of your games,
yeah,
more
yeah,
or less. Like the toughest game that they had was probably against Germany, which
yeah,
obviously they had to take to extra time. But
yeah,
like otherwise, they won pretty much every game fairly comprehensively. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, they would definitely win a club league if there was one. Um, sorry, a country league,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's just messing with my brain.
It's
But
called the
anyway,
Nations League, guy.
oh, which is why they won the Nations League like twice already. Anyway, or once. I think they won it once. Anyway, Ash, do you have anything else to add about the final? If not, we can go for our Afcon update.
I feel like congratulations, England. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, congratulations, England, twice in a row. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And
Yeah.
Serena Wiegman, like winning, I mean, getting to three Euro finals and winning three Euros is just,
I'm never criticizing her again. Sorry. I'm just going to be like, okay, play whatever player you want.
I mean, honestly, like two big calls that she made in like dropping Earps and
Yeah.
dropping Kirby for
Yeah.
Aljamain and Hampton fully paid off. I mean, those are the
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
absolute stars
Yeah. Yeah.
of the team. All right, congratulations, England. Congratulations, Serena. Well done. Let's move on to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which also ended a couple of days ago. The final was between Morocco and Nigeria. What a final it was! I obviously managed to catch only the highlights, but it was some serious nail biting stuff because Morocco were 2-0 up at halftime. So Shebak scored in the 12th minute and Masoudi scored in the 24th minute for Morocco. So they were 2-0 up at halftime. And in the second half, Okoronko scored in the 64th minute. It was a penalty. It was a handball, an unfortunate handball, actually. Um, and Ijamilsi scored in the 71st minute, and Echegini scored in the 88th minute, which was a winner. And the
Yeah.
game finished 2-3. I think this is Nigeria's like ninth or 10th Afcon win, and I think Morocco's second final, and they've lost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I
I do
think
feel bad for Morocco, but I have to say Okoronkwo, like I haven't obviously been watching closely, but from the stats and like all the results that I'm seeing, Okoronkwo seems
yeah,
to have had a great tournament.
yeah, I'm really curious. Like I do want to catch up on all the highlights of
Yeah,
Afcon because I feel like I mean she's had like 9 goal contributions through the
yeah,
tournament
yeah,
and three in the finals, which is incredible.
yeah, yeah,
And also, yeah, I also generally just want to catch up on all the highlights.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same here. With the Copa America as well. I want to
Oh
catch up on the
yeah,
highlights.
yeah. We will obviously bring you some Copa America update as well over the next few days. I think the semifinals are lined up to happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
So we'll catch up on that and give you a
yeah,
little
yeah,
update because fortunately Copa America is actually available on YouTube to
yeah,
watch.
yeah, yeah.
So I think without commentary, but that's okay. We can do our own
Yeah.
commentary.
Also,
Um,
Okoronkwo, if you want to leave Canada, Spurs has no forwards.
I feel like you might have to pay more money than what Levy is willing to part with.
Listen, if Beth England goes, Beth England's salary can be Okoronkwo's salary,
Where
whatever.
is Beth England going? Why are
I
you
don't
sending
know.
Beth England away? She's the only one who can score a goal in your team.
This is a problem because she stays injured for 4 months in a year.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Okay. That brings us to the end of this episode. Just a reminder once again for all those who found us through the Euros or maybe the Afcon, please subscribe to our channel because we are at 400 and where are we? 56?
46.
446. Yeah, we just four shy of 450 and like a few shy of 500. So it'd be really nice to get there quickly. Do
Yeah.
subscribe to the channel and like I said, we'll come up like we'll bring some WSL content as well as Champions League content, and of course other cup games in England. All right. Okay. So we will see you soon with a Copa America video later this week. Until then, bye bye.